Hi, it's Mrs. Mallet, and today we're going to talk about negative exponents. I like to think of negative exponents as elevator exponents, and let me tell you why. Because let's say we have x to the negative 3. Now, when you look at this, underneath it, you can go ahead and bring out your imaginary 1 underneath it. Now, this is why I like to think of negative exponents as elevator exponents, because anytime you have a negative exponent, you're going to flip it. Okay? Flip it meaning turn it upside down and change the sign. Remember, an elevator can go either up or down. So that's why I call these elevator exponents, because depending upon where the negative is, that's where it's going to flip to either go up or down. So for example, I have x to the negative 3 and I went ahead and put it over 1. Now it's on the top. So because this is an elevator exponent, and it's a negative exponent, let's flip it. So since it's on the top, it's going to go to the bottom. So now this will reverse, and I'll draw arrows to kind of help you. You're going to flip it. Flip. Okay, so now you're going to flip it and it's going to become, that's my arrow, 1 over x. Now, when you flipped it, once you flip it, you make it a positive exponent now. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's say that I have 1 over y to the negative 4. Now, it's on the bottom now. So let's flip it. And remember, when you flip it, you change the sign from negative to positive on the exponent. So now this will become y to the 4. Elevator exponents, you can either go up or down. So depending upon where it is in your original problem, when you flip it, it's going to go either up or down. In this case, it started off on the bottom. When we flipped it, it went up to the top and we made it positive. You don't have to put it over 1 if you don't want to. Now let's try one with some numbers in it. Let's say we have 5 to the negative 2. Okay, so if you want to, it's on the top. If you want to, you can go ahead and put this over 1 if you'd like. Okay, so now let's flip it. So when we flip this, this is going to become 1 over 5 to the positive 2. We can simplify this down further because we all know what 5 squared is. That's 25. So your final answer would be 1 over 25. And that'll be your final answer. Now, sometimes you will get fractions out of these, which is totally fine. Leave it as a fraction. Don't change it to a decimal. All right? Let's try another example. Let's say we have 3y to the negative 4. Okay, so my question to you is, which one are you going to flip? Are you going to move the whole thing, or just the 3 or the y to the 4? What's going to move? Well, let me help you with that. Now, remember we talked about our base and with the exponent. This y right here that I highlighted, that is the base. That is what you're moving. You're moving the y to the negative 4. Remember, I told you that 3 is the coefficient. Okay, so the y to the negative 4 is on the top, and it needs to go to the bottom. The 3 stays there. So this will become 3 stays on the top, and your y to the 4, that's what's going to go on the bottom. So you got to make sure you pay attention to what is negative. You only can move the negative exponents. Okay, let's try another one that's more in depth. Let's say that I have x to the negative 8 over y to the negative 3. Now here I have negative exponents on the top and the bottom. So what's going to happen? They're going to move. All right, so your y to the third power will go up top, and remember, when you move them, they become a positive exponent. So on top, I'm going to have y to the third, and on the bottom, I'm going to have x to the 8. Remember, you only can move the negative exponents. Let's try one more. Let's say that I have x to the negative 3 over x squared. Now, in this case, I gave you a negative and a positive, but remember, you only move the negative exponent. Okay, so my x to the third is going to go on the bottom with the x squared. Now, remember our product rule? What happens when you have the same base? You add your exponents, correct. So now this will be 1 over x to the 5th. All right, so we just talked about negative exponents in a nutshell. Now, this applies to all of the rules that we learned about exponents, so I just added this one more rule on top of it. But you can use this in with the other exponent rules that we've talked about. All right, so remember, with negative exponents, you only flip the negative exponent. All right?